Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions, and let's quickly start with today's session. And first thing which we are going to cover is to see how we can create bank branches and account in accounts payable module. This setup is necessary as for payment of the invoice we require bank details, right? So these setups are required for that. So we will see one by one how you can create then bank branch and bank account. So let's quickly move to the application and let's directly see how you can configure these setups in the application. Very easy setup. So let's go to first application. I have already logged in here as Casey Brown. So for creating the bank, you need to go to settings and actions, setup and maintenance. Give setup financials and search for the task, manage banks. So here it is, manage banks. You can view all the banks which is already created here. Fine. Let's navigate to this Bank of America which is already created. Just select and open. You can see country, bank name, alternate bank name, description, and address is given. So like this, we can create a bank. So this is already created one, which I am going to use further in my examples also, this Bank of America. But if you want to create a bank from the start, so what you can do is to create a new bank, just click on this add icon, give the country, like I'm giving United States. Let's search for it. Okay, so it's not able to search. Let's see. Let's scroll down and select this country. So it is United States. Then give a name of your bank here. Like for demo purpose, I'm giving the bank name as Demo Bank only. And if you want to add any alternate bank name also, you can add. I'm adding the same bank name in alternate bank name as well. If you want to add in a description, you can add, and rest things are not mandatory. I'm quickly going to the addresses, expand it and add the address here. Like we can search with the postal code any address for the demo purpose. Let's take this. And if you want to add address line, you can add, like I'm adding demo address 1. So what you need to do here is you need to give the bank name and the country of the bank and the address of your bank here. After giving all this information, just save and close. Okay. Now you can see here view branch tab is coming and create branch tab is coming. So like for already created branch, like I was giving the example of Bank of America, if you want to see its view its branches, you can directly select the bank and go to view branches to see its branch. And to create a new branch, you need to select the bank for which you need to create the branch and just click on this create branch icon here. Fine. So like for our bank, demo bank, if you want to create a branch, just select this bank first and you can go to create branch. This is one option or one way to create branch. If you want to directly go from here, you can go. Otherwise, from here, you can also search for the task with the name manage bank branch and you can go for creating your bank branch. So these are the two ways by which you can create your branch. Fine. So for uh, creating a new branch, just click on this add icon. Select the bank which we have created just now. Let's search for our bank. So this is the bank name. Entry is already coming. Now give the branch name here. So I'm giving demo bank branch as the name for practice. If you want to add any alternative bank branch name, you can give. Right now, not required. Now, the next mandatory field is the routing number. So, what is routing number? It is a 9-digit code used to identify a financial institution in the US. Banks use routing number to direct the exchange of funds to and from one another. So, basically, this is what routing number do and require for. So, it's a 9-digit number. So, let's take any number for practice right now, and the rest information is not mandatory. The next thing is you can just go to addresses, expand, and you can give address of the branch. In the same manner, you can go to postal code and you can search for any code and just select. So basically, in creation of the branch, you need to give the bank which we have created in the first step. Then you need to give the branch name, routing number and address of the branch. And after giving all this information, if you want to add contacts, it is possible to add from here. You just need to expand this field and you can add the contacts as well. Right now, not required for me. So I'm just skipping it and just save and close it. So this is how. Okay, so I need one routing number here. So let's search for it. Let's search for routing number US. There it is. We can use any. Okay, let's try whether it is saving. Okay, so it's got saved. So we need a real routing number. Fine, so this is how you can create your bank, then bank branch. Now the next step is to create bank account. So as for branch, we have seen two options are there that you can go directly from here to create account or else just done and you can go from this task manage bank accounts. This both ways or option will navigate you to the same page to create the bank account. So for creating a bank account from the scratch, you need to click on this add icon. But for my example, which I'm going to use uh, further, like while creating invoices and creating payment for it, I'm going to use Bank of America as my bank. So let me show you first what are the accounts under that Bank of America. So here are the two uh, bank account. which has been already created for Bank of America. So I'm going to use this 2869 account for my further practices to create bank. But to show you how you can create a new bank account, just click on this add icon. Now give the bank branch we have created. This was the branch. Give account number here. Then give account, sorry, it was account name. So for practice, I'm giving demo bank account as the name. Give account number. Add a currency, like mine is USD. Give your legal entity here. US1 legal entity. Now account type, checking other or saving, whatever is the requirement. On the basis of that, you can give account type. Then the next thing is the account use. Whether you want to use this bank account for payables purpose, payroll purpose, or receivable purpose, you can select it from here. Like if you want to enable it for all the purpose, then you can enable it from here. When you will enable the use from here, then only you can use this bank. Like if you want to use this for the payable purpose, you need to enable this first. If you want to use for payroll, then you need to enable this. If you want to use this bank for receivable also, then you need to enable this. So right now I'm enabling for all the purposes. Then you need to add your cash clearing account. Cash and cash clearing account. Select, say okay. Now the next thing you can do here while creating the account is to enable the multi-cash account combination for reconciliation. Give the account, GL cash account segment, whatever is required, like it is given accounts. If you want to give any other account segment also, you can give, like if you want company or any other account segment. So right now I want two segments, company and account, so I have used this. Then it is activated. Then if you want to use this bank for multi-currency payment, like when you have created invoice in some other currency and your payment is in another currency, say you have created payment invoice in USD and you want to pay in INR, so that will be possible only when you will enable this multi-currency account. So enable this. And for netting account, now what is netting account? It is a method of setting pending transaction by offsetting them against each other in favor of one. Like for example, one party require another to pay a net balance amount after deducting the value of what they owe to each other. So it's like a set off payable. It is used for AP and AR set off. So if you want this bank to act as a netting account also, so you can enable it. Fine, right now not required. And after giving all this information, just save and close. Okay, so it is not taking because the account of Bank of America, which I have shown to you, which I'm going to use in my further uh, example while creating the payment. So there I have already specified the cash and cash clearing. So for one bank, you can use one cash account and cash clearing. So these accounts have been already used. This code combination has been already used by me for creating Bank of America. That's why it is not accepting it. So this is the same step you can follow while creating a bank account from the scratch or a new bank account, and after doing all this thing just save and close and your account will be created. Right now I'm canceling because I have already taken this account combination there, so it will not save it. Fine. So this is how you can do a bank setup. So what we can do is, for creating a bank configuration in the application, you need to go to the task first, bank manage banks, where you will give the name of the bank with the country. Then after that you need to create bank branches. Then after giving bank branch, you need to create a bank account, and there you need to do other configurations also, like you have to give your cash clearing account, what what will be the account used, like payable, receivable, payroll, and whether you want to enable this for multi-currency netting, etc. So this all thing you need to configure here first in the bank setup. So this is how you can create bank. Now the next thing which we are going to see in today's session is to create payment process profile. Without this, we cannot process payment. So this is very important to create, because when you will create a payment for any invoice, you will need to specify payment process profile as a mandatory field. So first we need to create payment process profile, otherwise you will not be able to process your payments here. So for that you need to go to search task with the name payment process profile. So here it is, manage payment process profile. Select it, go to this task. Now here, for creating a new payment process profile, just click on this add icon. Now give the name to your payment process profile, like I'm giving demo PPP. Give any code, giving same as name only. Start date and fine, today's date. Then payment file format, what will be the payment file format here. So I'm taking the standard check format, which is already seeded in the application. Standard check format as my file format. Now what will be the processing type, electronic or printed? I'm taking printed. Fine. Now here in usage of the rule, you can see, like, if you want this payment process profile to be used for any particular payment method, so you can go for specify, and after selecting the specify, you can add a payment method for which this process profile will be available for. Fine. Same for the bank account as well, business unit and currency. If you want this payment process profile to be very specific to some payment methods, disbursement, bank accounts, business unit or currency, you can go for specify option. But right now I'm using the all as my option, that I want to use this payment process profile for all the payment methods, bank account, business unit and currencies. Fine. If you will select specific one, then only for that specific payment method or bank account or business unit or currency, this payment process profile will be available for the usage. So right now it's all for me. After creating this, after giving all this information, you need to just save and close, and your payment process profile is created in such manner. Fine, so this is very simple. You can search for your payment process profile from here, which you have created just now. So this is the payment process profile. Very important for the process of the payment. When you will create payment, it will be asked as a mandatory field. Now the next concept for the today is interest invoice. Interest is calculated for overdue invoice. So what are the steps which we need to follow here for creating interest invoice are, first we need to go to invoice options to do the setting for the interest invoice. Then we will need interest rate. According to that rate only, interest will be calculated. Then at the supplier side, we should make sure that under invoicing tab, create interest invoice are set as yes, then we will create invoice and then we will create a payment for it. And when you will create payment for it, automatically interest calculation will be done with the generation of the interest invoice in the invoice work area. So let's quickly start with the first step is to go to manage invoice option to enable the interest configuration. So search for the task invoice options, search for it. First, you should make sure that your proper business unit is coming under the scope. This is the business unit which is required by me for creation of the invoice and payment. So this is correct for me. One should make sure of the business unit first. Then go to manage invoice options. Now just scroll down. You can see here interest. Just enable this. Enable create interest invoice. Then you need to add a minimum interest amount here that will be applicable for interest calculation. So minimum amount like I'm giving 5. Then you also need to give interest expense distribution account as mandatory here. So let's add that account. Search for the account. So here it is interest expense. Select, say OK. OK. So this is how in invoice option you need to enable this interest invoice, give the minimum interest amount and give interest expense distribution here. After giving all this thing, just save and close your invoice option and your first step is done. Now the next step towards the interest invoice is to create interest rate. So we will search for the task manage interest rate. There it is, manage interest rates. Go to this task manage interest rates. So here you can see already one interest rate is coming from and two period is coming in 15%. Rate is defined here. I'm going to use this only, but if you want to create a new, just click on this add icon and you can specify from and to date and your interest rate, and interest rate is created. So I'm using this one only which is already defined here. Just save and close. And the next step before creating invoice is to make sure that under your supplier site this invoice interest invoice has been set as yes, enabled. So let's go to the supplier for which we are going to create payment and invoice. For that, go to procurement, go to suppliers, search for the supplier. Here it is. Added it. Sorry. Now go to sites. Again, edit it. Open it in edited form so that we can make our desired changes. Go to invoicing tab. Now go to here terms, and the terms there are create interest invoice. So we need to set here option as yes. Then only for the supplier interest invoice will be calculated or created in the instance. The save and close the changes which we have done for the supplier side. It is done. Now after enabling invoice option for the interest, after creating the interest rate, and after seeing that at supplier side for your desired supplier, interest invoice is set as yes, the next thing is we need to create invoice. So let's create invoice. For that we need to go to payables, invoices. Go to task list, create invoice. Okay, so business unit is coming here. Add supplier. Select, say OK. Give number, like I'm giving interest demo. Then give any amount here. Let's say 1095 only, and give the date. So as my interest rate has been created for year 21, which I'm going to use here, so I'm changing the date accordingly, taking it as year 21 only. So interest is applicable for the period December 21, for the month December 21. So I'm creating invoice for that month only. Okay, fine. Now add a line. Give amount. Above I have given the amount including the tax. Now give a distribution combination. Give account. Select the account for which we are creating the invoice. Say OK. Now after giving all this information, just validate your invoice. It will give us the warning because I have taken a long back date, but it's fine. Just validate it. Continue. So it's got validated. After validating it, just save and close. Now for creating a payment for this invoice, just go to navigator, go to this payables, go to payment work area. Go to task list and go to create payments. Now for payment, what all information is required here? Business unit is coming. Then give your supplier name, a party name, let's say OK. And disbursement bank account is the bank account. As I've already said, I'm going to use this bank account, Bank of America, and accordingly payment currency and payment method which I have set while creating that bank account is defaulted, and then payment process profile. Let's take the process profile which we have created, demo PPP, and the payment document will be check stock A. Fine. Now go to here invoices to pay and add our invoice which we have created. This is interest demo. Select, apply, and OK. You can see here then just cancel it the interest has been calculated accordingly, automatically. Now after this, just save and close. And when you will save and close, when you will go back to your invoice work area, you can see interest invoice has been created automatically by the system. So let's go to the payables and then invoice work area, and here in the recent, let's see whether, here it is, interest demo was the invoice which we have created. Interest demo, interest is the invoice which is automatically created in the application for the interest. Just open it to view it. You can see here description, type is coming interest, description is coming interest for 365 days at 15% has been calculated here, and you can see the amount also here. So this is how your invoice, interest invoice gets automatically created when you have configured the invoice option. You have given the interest rate, and at supplier level interest invoice settings are set as yes. So when you will create invoice and create payment, automatically this interest invoice will get generated here. So this was the concept of interest invoice. Now let's go for the concept of prepayment expense, prepayment invoices. So what are prepayments? A prepayment is a payment you make to supplier in anticipation of the provision of goods or services. It is like an advance payment to the supplier. It is like you have paid advance to the supplier, and as in when you will take any goods or services from that supplier, you are going to adjust this advance from that. So this is what prepayment does. So there are two types of prepayment: permanent and temporary. Permanent type of prepayment are which are not available for the adjustment of any standard invoice through them, and temporary are the one for from which you can adjust your standard invoice. Fine. So how you can differentiate between permanent and temporary? When I will go to the application, I will show you from where it will be defined as it is permanent nature or a temporary nature. Fine. Now let's see what are the steps which we need to follow for creating a prepayment invoice. Here is, first, you need to go to invoice options again and do the configuration for prepayment option there. Then you need to create a prepayment invoice, and you need to do payment for that prepayment invoice. Then you need to create a standard invoice, and then you need to apply that prepayment to the standard invoice. So let's quickly go to the application and see all the steps there. So going to the application, go to settings and actions, setup and maintenance. If setup financials, search for again invoice option. Here it is. Go to this invoice option. Scroll down and go to the prepayment fields. So in my invoice option already prepayment setups are done. So payment term will be immediate only because we are going to pay for this invoice immediately only, so that it is available for the use of our standard invoices, right? So payment term is defined as immediate. Then you need to enable this use distribution from purchase date as well, purchase order, as well as show available prepayment during invoice entry. So what this option will do is, when you will create a standard invoice, if there is any prepayment at the time of creating invoice, then it will give us a notification that there is a prepayment for this, you can use it. And what will be the new notification? It will be the bell icon sign, which will be shown from which we can show in the supplier. So when we will create a prepayment and standard invoice, I will show you what was the notification. It was a bell icon on the supplier name. So this will help us uh, to know that prepayment is available for the use of the standard invoice here. Now the settlement date, if you will give any settlement date here, then it will say like you have given 5 as settlement date, then it will mean that this prepayment which you are creating will be available for use for standard invoice after the 5 days. So right now not required here. Let it be blank only, and just after giving all this configuration, save and close. So after giving invoice option, let's go to the invoices work area and create a prepayment invoice there. So to navigate our payables, invoices, go to task list, create invoice, give supplier, select say OK, give number, I'm giving demo, prepayment. Say we are creating prepayment for 10,000 USD, give type as prepayment. Now give the lines. One more thing which is very important, here you need to go to show more, and here allow prepayment applicant should be enabled. This is the thing which is very important for the consideration whether the prepayment is of temporary nature or permanent nature. If you will enable this option, then it will be a temporary one. If you will not enable this option, then it will become for the permanent nature. So this is very important. Fine. Now you can go for lines, and here you can give the amount. Let's give a work amount including tax. Now here you can see already prepayment account is coming. Here you can see prepayment is coming automatically. It has fetched the prepayment account automatically from the uh, payables option, procurement and payables option. In procurement and payables option, you need to specify a various account, and one of them is prepayment account. So this distribution combination is fetching the account prepayment from the procurement and payable options only. So this is fine. The next step is to go to invoice action and validate. When you will validate this, then the status generally come as validated, but for this it will come as unpaid. So let's check it. Let's validate it. So you can see the status is coming unpaid. So now we will pay it. Go to invoice actions, go to pay in full, give the bank account, and payment process profile, payment document, and submit. Now when it will be submitted, the status from unpaid becomes available. So this prepayment is available for usage for offsetting the standard invoice. So next thing which we are going to do is to create standard invoice, and then we will apply this prepayment to it. So let's save and create next. Now we will create one standard invoice. Select, say OK, give number, I'm giving standard demo prepayment. Let's say 5,000. We have made prepayment for 10,000 and we are creating standard invoice for 5,000 so that we can see how we can apply and use this prepayment invoice for the standard one. So this is without tax right now. Let's give the lines of this account only. Say OK. So it's got validated. Now the next step is to apply prepayment for the standard invoice. Is to go to invoice action, and here you can see apply or unapply prepayment. Just go for this option. Here you can see there are two prepayment available for this Dell supplier. So we have created right now this demo prepayment. So I'm just selecting this and applying. So it will come under applied and done. Now just again validate it. It's got validated again. Just save and close. And this is how your payment is done. So let's again go to the same standard demo prepayment. Here you can see when you will click on the validated that it is paid. The payment has been done for it. Fine. That is fully paid. Here also you can see it is fully paid. Paid status is fully paid. So this is how prepayment works in the application. Now let's go for one another concept for today is the invoice installments. So an installment is the part of the invoice that specify payment due date, amounts and other payment information. An invoice can have one or more installments, and there is option for splitting an installment. When you will create invoice, there is a under invoice action there is an option for manage installment, and you can go there, and if you want to split your installment, you can use that option. You can split an installment to make payment on two different dates or to use two different payment methods. When you will go for split installment, the another installment is automatically created for half of the gross amount of the installments that you split. You can't split an installment. Yeah. So what is the basic thing here to keep in mind is that you can't split an installment that's already paid or partially paid or is on hold or selected for payment process request, that is for the payment. So only other than this, which are not paid or partially paid or on hold, only those invoices, only for those invoices you can go for this split installments option. And there is one more option for hold and release, where you for you every installment you can hold any installment and release any installment for payment as and when required. So let's go to the application for the more clarity of this concept and see how this installments can be managed from there. So let's go to the application and go to this invoices option only. Sorry, this invoices work area only. And yesterday we have created many recurring invoices. Here let's take one of them as example. Let's go to this demo recurring only, which we have created yesterday. And from here I come to the point that I forgot to show that the icon which was I was talking about, that when you will enable that at the time of invoice entry prepayment is there. This is the option at the invoice number here of the bell icon, which lets you know that there are prepayment available against this supplier which you can use for paying your standard invoice. So this is the bell icon which help us to know that there is prepayment available for it. So this was one point which got skipped. So fine, now let's go to the invoice installments. So you can go to invoice action, and here you can go to manage installments, and you can see your installments from there. Like in this case only one installment is there of 500. And if you want to split this, so you can just select this installment. You can see the split installment and place hold options get activated here. And for splitting the installments into two halves, you need just to click on this split installment, and there will be two installments. It's taking some time. Okay, so you can see here it has split the installment into two equal halves. And if you want, you can edit this also and make the changes. Like if you want to keep for this installment, first one, electronic as a payment method and bank account is 4322, and if you want another payment method and bank account for this, you can just change the fees as per the requirement. Fine, so this is how you can split the installment and can give the information for the other fields as required. And like if you want any installments to get hold for payment, so you can just select the installment and place a hold on it. When you will place a hold on this installment, you can see the sign will come that will show that is this installment on hold and it will not be available for the payment creation. And when you want to make payment for this installment, just select this installment and go for release hold, and this installment will also gets available for your payment. So this is one way to place hold and release to the installments here. But there is one more task, manage hold and release, which we will cover in our next session, not today. So this is one way to hold or place hold or release to the installment, and we will cover one more release and hold, the system hold and manual holds. There are two types of hold which we are going to cover in the next session. So for now, this is sufficient. So in today's session, we have covered like we have seen how you can do the setup for the bank branch, bank account. Then we have also seen that what is payment process file, that is PPP. So which is very important. When you will create a payment, it will ask you to give your payment process profile. So that we have seen. Then we have seen how you can create a interest invoice, what are the setups for that, and then how automatically interest invoice is created in the invoice work area. Then we have also seen how you can create a prepayment invoice, pay that, and use that prepayment invoice for your standard invoice. That is, you can apply your prepayment to your standard invoice. Then we have also seen how you can split your installments and how you can place a hold or release on your installments. So we have covered all this in our session. So thanks for joining. That's all for today.